Sunrise and sunset, promise and fulfillment, birth and death. The whole drama of life is written in the sands of time. We present a new... The Clock.
It's nice to have friends, and I can count quite a few of my own. Most people consider me to be a very good fellow to know. Well, if you'll pardon a bit of boasting on my part, they find that their time is enjoyable, and the minutes and hours of their lives are valuable things indeed. To these people, working towards an end for themselves and their families, time provides them with the opportunity to relax, to do a job, and to build for the future. Yes, I count myself lucky to have so many friends. But I also have some enemies. Who are my enemies? I'll tell you who they are. They're the inmates of prisons throughout the world. They're the misfits and the socially outcast. Many of them can be reclaimed. Many of them serve out their terms, pay their debt to society, and later begin anew. But there are a few, a very few, who will never change. These are the hardened types, the killers to whom human life is cheap. These are the ones who watch my hands as they slowly turn year after year, who watch my face knowing that for them, time has no rewards. These are the ones, my friends, who hate me and who despise the world.
Wait.
You got the rods?
Here's yours. Stick it under your shirt, quick. Duke slipped them to me about an hour ago. We gone into the yard.
The Duke's all right. He comes alone.
He gave me the dope in the hash house. We go east to the river, and we cut across to the bay. We hide out on the beach, and Joe will pick us up there on the fast boat.
I got it.
When do we make the break?
Now.
Now?
Yeah. Well, I was waiting for us to get my fingers on a rod.
But I figured that we
I'm
was
running
going...
the show, Smiley, just like I always run it.
Oh, sure, Red. We know.
Everything's worked out. We can't lose, and we can't wait. We start the panic as they start taking us back inside. I'll short-circuit the lights by firing into the switch box. We pick up the guard and march.
Right.
Look, Smiley, this is it. I don't want to be grabbed, see? We either get out of here on our feet, or we get carried out in a box. Understand?
Yeah, and I'll duel anybody who stands in our way.
Okay. Tip the Duke off. Here comes the guard.
All right, man. Time's up. Line up to file back to your cells. Forward, march.
Fire! The gun's on fire!
Stand where you are. Nobody move. Stand where you are or I'll shoot.
You want to live, Screw?
What?
Start getting us out of here. You know the way in the dark, start moving fast. I go, you get off. Smiley.
I'm here, Red.
Duke. Right behind you, old man. You did a nice job, Screw.
You let me go now, won't you? You're free.
There's the car, Red. Joe left it like he said.
Yeah, come on. Wait a minute. Where you going, Screw?
I thought you were taking me with you.
We ain't got no room. We can't take you, and we can't leave you behind. Huh?
No. Over the line.
Now, let's get out of here fast. What time you got, Smiley?
10-5.
Yeah, he's late.
I tell you, ain't coming, Red. Look at that fog out there underwater. He couldn't find his beach if he tried.
Do we come this far, then lose out?
Don't irritate yourself, my boy. Joe's a man to be trusted. He'll be here.
Yeah, when?
When the fog lifts. Tomorrow night, perhaps. Remember what he told us. We're to keep the same rendezvous every night at this time until he shows up with the boat.
And while we're waiting, what do we do? Stand here on the beach until we're spotted?
I must admit we didn't allow for that contingency.
Hey, Wade, look,
At what?
on the other side of the beach, in that cove.
That's a house.
The only one I can see.
There you are. We can help ourselves to shelter, so to speak.
How do we know who's in there?
What difference does it make we take over, that's all?
Yeah, take cover. Okay, come on. Let's go.
These are the facts as we have learned them up to now. One of the most daring jailbreaks of all time. The prisoners escaped through sheer nerve, brutally killing a guard as they left. It is uncertain as to what direction they took, but all state police have been alerted.
Hello, Anne.
Finished work, Dad?
Oh, yes.
I was just getting some more news about the amazing jailbreak that happened this afternoon.
Now, what did I do with my glasses?
On the table, Dad.
Oh, yes.
It was simply fantastic. They forced a guard to lead them right out of the prison. And then they killed him.
Oh, who did?
Darling, don't you ever listen to anything I say?
I'm sorry, my dear. What were you saying about a prison?
Never mind. Can never get you to listen unless I talk about bugs and test tubes.
Well, I had quite a day today in the lab.
Really?
I've developed a new medium for my cultures. It ought to prove extremely satisfactory.
You know, darling, I'm glad we bought this old house here on the beach.
Are you?
Oh, it's so pleasant for you. And you're so happy here.
Yes, I'm very happy, Anne. It's nice to have a laboratory right inside the house and to be free of all outside disturbances. But what about you? Are you happy here?
Of course I am.
You know, perhaps it was selfish of me to bring you all the way out here to this deserted spot. You're young and you want excitement and company.
Oh, I get plenty of company when I go into town twice a week. And as for excitement, I'd much rather help you win the next Nobel Prize.
Nobel Prizes aren't just given away. I've got a lot of work ahead of me.
One day, Dad, you're going to be a famous man.
Am I?
One day, when people mention the name of Dr. William Carter, they'll...
Now, who on earth can that be?
I don't know.
Who might be someone looking for directions?
I'll see who it is. Yes?
Inside.
Dad!
Inside, I said.
Dad!
Well, what's going on here? Smiley, take a look through that door.
Okay.
Is this a hold-up?
Not exactly, young lady. If you'd like an explanation.
Shut up, Duke. Who else is in this dump outside of you two?
No one.
You sure?
Of course I'm sure.
The joint's empty, Red.
That's good. Take care of the phone.
Dad, he's tearing the phone from the wall.
Well, that's the smartest thing to do under the circumstances.
Wait! I know who they are. They're the three escaped convicts. I remember their description on the radio.
Pipe down, baby. Everything's all right, honey. Now, just keep your head.
Permit me to introduce myself and my colleagues. My name is Bowen, Charles Bowen, but I'm more widely known as the Duke. This gentleman on my left is Red Fulton. You may have heard of him. He's been serving a life term for murder.
You talk too much, Duke.
Smiley, the gentleman on his right, is another genius at homicide. How many do you have to your credit, Smiley?
4. Red's got me, baby. He's got 8.
Candy gap. Are you?
Me?
You got anything to eat in this dump?
There's a little cold meat in the icebox.
Get it out.
What?
I said get it out. Hey, what goes with you? Can't you hear? Go on, Anne. Prepare some sandwiches for our guests. Hook, go with her.
The pleasure is all mine, after you, lady.
What's your name, mister? Carter. Dr. Carter. Doctor of medicine, retired. The dame your daughter? Yes. All right. Sit down. Thank you. Look, Doc. Let me get something straight in your head before we go any further. My pals and I want it, and want it bad. This is only a stopover as far as we know. And we'll be getting out of here tomorrow night. I see. Now, just so you remember, we got a wrap over our skulls. That means the chair if we're caught. So we ain't going to be bashful about adding a couple more to the list we already have. You mean you'll kill us in cold blood if it becomes necessary?
You catch on fast, Doc.
If you take it easy, don't try any gags. Maybe we'll walk out of here like we came in. Quiet. If not, you and your daughter better figure to get yourselves measured for a couple of kimonos. Yeah, wooden ones. I think I understand. Make sure you do, Doc. How many rooms you got in this shack?
5.
Well, I only counted 4, Red.
Where's the last one, Doc?
Downstairs, in the cellar. I use it as a laboratory.
Let's go down and look.
I assure you there's nothing down there, but...
We'll look anyway. Go on, move.
Hey, it's an opening in the floor.
This trapdoor leads to the cellar. There are stairs going down.
Smiley, you first. The Doc next. I'm last.
I assure you there's nothing down here that would interest you.
Then you got nothing to worry about by showing it to us.
Please be careful. I have several valuable specimens in the test tubes that are important to me.
What are you reaching for?
The light switch, of course.
Hey, Red. Get a load of this place.
Yeah. What's all the glassware for, Doc?
Those are flasks and test tubes. I'm a bacteriologist.
What?
I work with infectious diseases. I try to find vaccines that will prevent or cure them.
Yeah. Does it pay off?
In satisfaction, yes.
Nuts.
Hey, Red, look at this. You got a rabbit in here.
That's not a rabbit, it's a guinea pig.
What's the idea?
I use them for experiments.
Well, he looks like he eats good. Look how fat he is, Red.
Yeah. He certainly is fat.
Hey, what are you doing? Don't pick him up, please.
I want to try a little experiment of my own. I want to see if he can breathe when I squeeze his neck.
You're strangling him.
Red's always good for a laugh.
Why, you've killed him. You strangled him to death.
Sure. Just so you remember, Doc, there ain't no difference between his neck and yours.
The ocean tides can be depended on to rise and fall according to a fixed schedule of time. But mist and fog, the soupy fog that billows in from the high seas and hovers over the beaches like a curtain of oil, that can never be relied upon to leave, and even the threats of 3 armed killers have no effect upon its arrival or departure.
What's the matter with that fog? How many nights we got to hang out in this hole?
Joe won't be around tonight, Red. I just took a look at the beach. Worse than yesterday.
As Mark Twain once said, everyone talks about the weather, but no one seems to be able to do anything about it.
Shut up, Duke.
The Doc's downstairs, playing with his bugs.
And the dame?
In the kitchen. Red, what happens when we leave?
What do you mean, what happens?
Joe's going to pull us off that beach in a motorboat. He takes us to a tanker 12 miles out, and we head for South America.
So what?
What Smiley is trying to tell you is that the plan is perfect, provided no one else is aware of it.
That's what I mean.
If we happen to leave anyone behind who can notify the Coast Guard, that tanker won't get very far.
We ain't leaving nobody behind who can talk.
Red,
Look.
What are you doing in here?
I wanted to go into the laboratory. My father hasn't had his dinner yet. I'm bringing it down to him.
You're sure nice to the old man, baby. You ever like to be nice to anybody else?
Take your hands off me.
Take it easy going down them steps, baby. Them pins of yours are too cute to be busted.
Do you think the girl heard what we said about getting rid of them?
And if she did there, so what? It ain't gonna do either of them any good.
Boy, dinner? Oh, that's sweet of you, my dear.
Dad, I want to tell you something. I just heard them talking upstairs. They're going to kill us before they leave, Father. They're afraid we know too much about their plans.
What's going on down there?
Nothing.
It's sure taking a long time to park that hash.
They're coming down.
Don't be nervous, Anne. What are you two cooking up?
Oh, we've just been talking.
Yeah.
You spend too much time down here, Doc. I don't like it.
I have work to do.
That's so.
They're smashing your specimen. Stop it. Stop it. Do you hear? They've broken almost everything.
Sure. You got nothing to work with now, so you got no work to do. And no reason to be down here.
You shouldn't have done that.
No.
You'll regret it.
Yeah. You're getting too smart, Doc. Next time you'll have a mouthful of teeth.
Hey, Red, you got some of that stuff on your clothes.
What stuff?
That junk that was in them tubes. Some of it spilled on me, too. Here, let me brush you.
That won't do you any good.
What?
The bacilli in those tubes were among the most dangerous known to man, and they strike very quickly. Well, what's he talking about?
I don't know.
Have you ever heard of bubonic plague? Stop dishing out them fancy words. Speak English. I've been working on bubonic plague for years. It's one of the most horrible diseases in creation. In a day or two, perhaps you'll begin to know what I mean.
What are you trying to do? Put a scare into us, Doc?
We'll see when the time arrives.
Come on, get moving. From now on, you and the dame stay inside the bedroom.
And you don't come out, see? Unless you're asked.
Time seems to stand still for my enemies, Red, Smiley, and Duke. But let's see what happens.
The fog's still as bad as ever. There's no sign of Joe.
Or maybe tomorrow night.
Hey, Duke.
Yes, old boy?
You're a smart guy.
Brilliant is the word.
Yeah. What's bubonic plague?
A disease.
It ain't bad, though. Is it?
My dear Red, in the Middle Ages, bubonic plague killed people like flies. It's a frightful contamination. Frightful. Why do you ask?
Well, yesterday we busted up the old man's glass factory.
Now, we got some stuff in our clothes, too.
He said it was bubonic plague. What are you looking at?
Bubonic plague?
Stop looking at me like that and talk.
I don't know what to say.
How can he have a disease cooped up in a test tube? He was lying, wasn't he?
I don't know. If he was working with the bacilli...
That's the word he used. Hey, what are you moving away for?
I want to sit down. Over here. Away from you.
What are you sniffling about, Smiley? You've been doing that for an hour.
I don't know. I got an itch in my nose.
An itch?
Yeah, and my chest feels kind of funny.
You mean you feel sick?
Hey, wait a minute. I didn't get no disease. I'm all right.
Keep away from me. Keep away.
Duke, are you nuts?
Bubonic plague. I'd rather be dead than have bubonic plague.
Funny. Get the doc in here, Smiley.
Come inside, Doc.
Why, yes. What is it? Now listen, Doc. And listen hard. Don't lie to me, or I'll stitch your ribs with slugs. How do you know when you get this bubonic plague? The symptoms are very easy to recognize. Yeah? Itching nose, heaviness in the chest. That's the beginning.
Red, I got it.
The nose itches because the bacilli enter the body that way. Later, the pains in the chest become more painful, and circulation ceases in the extremities. Yes, the extremities. What does that mean?
It means your arms and legs can fall off.
It's a slow death, one of the most painful known to civilization. Take a look at Smiley and see if he got it. I know he has.
Oh, don't say that, Doc.
But I'm looking at you now, Red. Me? Yes. Does your nose itch? No. I'm sure it does. How does your chest feel? Is it heavy? I'll kill you for it!
Red, don't touch him. He may be your only chance.
And yours, too. Mine? You can't help contracting the disease. Those broken test tubes have made this place a death house. What about you and your daughter? If we get it, you get it, too. Oh, no. I told you I was working on it. I've found a vaccine for it. We've been injected. We're immune.
Hey, can you give us an injection, too?
Shut up. Of course I can if you want it. You ain't giving us nothing. Now get back into that room. All right. Just as you say.
Look, Red, you've got to be reasonable.
He's lying. He's trying to scare us. When Joe shows up, I'll knock the two of them off myself. He can't scare me, not Red Fulton. I'm tough, see? I'm as hard as nails. And I'm top man around here, understand?
We'll be finished in a couple of days if the doc don't help us. Call him in, Red.
Shut up.
It's 2-1. You don't have to take the injection if you don't want to, but we will.
Yeah, we have.
I have the hypodermics ready, gentlemen. If you've stopped bickering and you want to live, I can give you the vaccine.
I'm ready, Doc.
All right, roll up your sleeve.
So am I.
Well, Red? Will it hurt? Not very much, just a pinprick.
Which sleeve should I roll?
Either one will do. Just hold steady. It'll all be over in a moment.
Hey,
There.
me next, Doc.
All right. There. And you?
If you please, Doctor.
All right. There we are. I haven't poisoned you, if that's what you're afraid of. I suggest you all sit down now and relax to give the solution a chance to go through your bodies.
You know, I feel better already.
So do I.
The pain in my chest, it's gone away. It'll be completely gone in just a moment, Red.
Oh, gee. See, that's funny. I feel...
Tired?
Yeah. Hey, Charles.
Hey, you ain't kidding. I can hardly keep my... Wait a minute. There's Smiley.
He's asleep, Red. And the Duke will be with him in just a second.
Asleep. Let's see. Hey, what did my rod... Where's my...
You'd be too weak even to lift it, Red. Just relax and go to sleep.
Father!
It's all right, Anne. Everything's fine.
They're all fast asleep.
Yes. Morphine, my dear, is a wonderful thing. Don't you think?
Well, Doc, I've got to hand it to you.
Officer, I trust my recent guests are safely behind bars, where they belong.
They're our guests now, but it's only temporary. They're getting the chair for the murder of that guard.
And what about their accomplice, the man with the boat?
He showed up just as you said he would. It'll be a long time before he goes for a boat ride again.
Well, that seems to conclude just about everything.
There's only one thing we can't figure out, Doc.
What's that?
Red and Smiley kept saying something about bubonic plague. They were scared stiff when they woke up in the squad car. And the other one, the Duke, he kept complaining about an itchy nose and a pain in his chest.
Oh, yes. You see, they smashed some of my equipment. And there were certain viruses in some of the test tubes.
Bubonic plague?
Oh, no, not bubonic plague. I'm working on something else.
They kept saying you didn't cure them. They said you didn't do them any good.
I'm afraid they're right. You see, I've been working on it for a long time, officer. But so far, I've still been unable to find a cure for the common cold.
Yes, I find I have many friends, like Dr. Carter, for instance. In his own quiet way, he makes good use of time. And as for my enemies, well, surprisingly enough, I know of 3 in particular who have lately become my friends. They're watching the clock now with eager concentration and hope. They're watching for a reprieve which will never come, and which they don't deserve. I can bring them no reprieve, my friends, for that is beyond my power. But as my hands go round and the seconds tick slowly off, sooner or later I will be able to bring them justice.
The Clock will be heard again next week, same time, same station. This program was written by Lawrence Klee and starred Hart McGuire as the Clock. Also heard were Frank Waters as Red, Beryl Marshall as Anne, Ozzie Wenburn as Smiley, Leonard Bullen as Dr. Carter, together with Gordon Chater and Gordon Glenwright. The Clock, directed by John Saul, is a Grace Gibson radio production.
Sunrise and sunset, promise and fulfillment, birth and death. The whole drama of life is written in the sands of time.
we present a new series of radio programs, The Clock.
Felis domestica, better known as the common house cat, is rumored to have 9 lives, while man is presumed to have but 1. Such is the common conception. But there are some who believe otherwise. There are some who say that the present life they live is merely one of a number, and that if you could go back in time, you would find yourself again in another age, perhaps in another form. Well, I don't intend to take sides in the matter, but I was wondering if I could offer anything by way of evidence. A story, perhaps. The tale of one John Shepley, a man whose clock turned backward in a most unconventional way. A man who returned to a life he had lived once before.
Sit down, my dear. Relax.
I suppose I'm behaving like a child, Dr. Brewster, but I'm frightened. I don't know what I've been through in these last few weeks.
Well, suppose you tell me about it, Jean.
You know, of course, that John and I are soon to be married.
I was hoping for the pleasure of attending your wedding.
Wedding? I don't know anymore if there'll be a wedding.
Why? What's happened?
John's ill, Dr. Brewster.
Ill?
Oh, not physically, but there's something wrong with his mind, I think. It started with a dream.
A dream?
Yes, he's had that dream every night for the last 3 weeks. He won't tell me what it is exactly, but I can see what it's doing to him. It's changing his personality. It's making him behave like someone else.
Oh, I see.
I love him very much, Dr. Brewster. Up to now, I was sure he loved me.
And now?
I don't know. I came to you as a last resort.
But, I'm not a psychiatrist, Jean. I can't interpret these dreams for him.
You're his friend, Dr. Brewster. Perhaps the only one he can talk to. And you may be the only one who can save him.
Save him? You sound as if his life's in danger.
It is, Dr. Brewster. It is.
John, what is this thing that Jean fears so much? What's happened between you?
Dr. Brewster, I'm going to ask you a very odd question.
Oh, I'm used to odd questions.
Do you believe in reincarnation?
Reincarnation?
Do you believe man can live more than once? That you and I and Jean once existed before in a different era?
Well, first tell me, do you believe in it?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because I have proof.
And what's your proof?
For the past 3 weeks, I've had a dream. A recurrent dream, always exact, down to the tiniest detail.
And what's the substance of that dream?
The substance, Dr. Brewster, is that I'm a murderer. You don't believe me, do you?
I don't know what to say.
I tell you it's the truth. I'm a murderer, Dr. Brewster. It's come back to me again and again, night after night. The dagger. His blood on the chair in the palace.
Did you recognize your victim?
Yes.
Well, who was he?
His name was the Normand de Troyes. He was married to the Marquise de Pompadour.
Marquise de Pompadour? Oh, good heavens. That woman's been dead for almost 200 years.
I know. And she was beautiful. I loved her, Dr. Brewster, and I gave my life for her. Oh, I know I sound like a maniac. Well, maybe I am. Sometimes I wonder myself. And yet I can't get over it. That feeling of having lived during the reign of Louis XV, of having been in love with Madame Pompadour, and of having murdered her husband.
John, listen to me. Go to a psychiatrist.
I don't need a psychiatrist, Dr. Brewster. I have to work this out for myself in some way.
But if you go on like this, do you know where it might end?
For Jean? I know. In unhappiness. But I can't help myself. As wretched as I feel about her part in it.
And for you, John? Do you know what the ending might be for you?
Murder will out, Dr. Brewster. And the only ending for a murderer is the hangman's noose.
You've only one hope, Jean. You've got to get his mind away from the past. You've got to make him realize he lives in the present, that today is what counts.
Used to have such fun together. Now I hardly see him.
Try to relive those moments with him. Take him to the theater, the art museums. Do what you used to do. And make him forget about himself.
I'll try, Dr. Brewster.
When I used to know.
Who is she?
Her name's Charlotte.
Charlotte? That's nice.
Liking Ruth, huh?
You said her name was Charlotte.
That's right. She's dead.
Oh,
Maybe you're getting tired, Leach.
Not a bit. I just started to drive.
You're not used to the car.
I'll let you know when I'm tired.
aren't you going rather fast?
55, that's all.
That's all right. This car can take it. We ought to be hitting a town pretty soon now. Why are you slowing down?
I'm taking this turn.
But how do you know it's the right one?
I know.
All right, Lola. I'll be a backseat driver now.
Do you know this road, Mr. Lee?
I've been over it before.
The woods are kind of thick here.
Yeah.
Why don't we pass the village? I can't understand why...
Don't be afraid. I mean, well, we're strangers, but we're both nice guys. Aren't we, Leach?
We don't have much farther to go.
We don't? What do you mean?
We're not even near Salt Lake yet.
I mean we don't have much longer to ride in this jalopy until we get out of these woods. Oh.
You know, I think it's the first town we've come to. I'm getting a hotel room. I'm tired, and I guess I'll call it a night.
Well, anything you say, Miss Pickham.
You won't forget to stop, will you?
I won't forget. What time you got, Mr. Keeler?
8:20.
Oh, that's fine.
Is it?
What's the matter now? Why are you slowing down again?
Yeah, there's a sign at that road fork. I want to read it.
Can't you read it from here?
No.
What's he doing?
Looking up and down the road. Lanny wants to make sure there are no other cars.
All right. We can't wait any longer. Reach into that side pocket fast.
Have you got a gun?
No, but I just remembered there's a pocket knife in there. Quick.
Here.
Okay, folks, get out.
What?
This is the end of the line. I've got the car keys, so you may as well get out.
Go on, Lola. Do as he says.
Yeah, that's right.
Is this a hold-up?
Hold up? No.
Then what's the big idea, Mr. Leach?
You'll find out, Mr. Keeler, in just a second.
Maybe we won't wait that long.
I can't look at him.
That's a good thing I had this knife.
I guess you had to kill him, didn't you?
There's no other way.
I hope maybe you could do it differently. I mean, he couldn't help himself. He was sick.
Well, he's better off this way, Lola.
Wayne, let's leave him here and get back into the car. We can drive to the nearest police station and... Len?
Well?
What are you doing?
I was just looking at his hair.
His hair?
It's so long, soft. Like yours is. I think I'll just cut off a piece as a keepsake. What's the matter, Lola? Don't you like what I'm doing?
I don't believe it. You. You couldn't be. You wouldn't.
No, Lola. It wasn't.
Keep away from me.
Come here, Lola.
No, keep away.
I won't use the knife on you, Lola. Just my hands. Just my hands and my fingers on your throat. Look, please. Are you all right, miss?
guy called us about 20 minutes ago, and we told him to stall right here. He recognized Slade when Slade picked him up. Car was stolen.
Right, Slade. Keep moving.
Have you got him, Pete?
Come on. Yeah, we got him.
Are you sure that you're all right, Mass?
I never felt better in my life.
Yes, the road gets lonesome when you're spinning along behind the wheel. And it's lonesomer still when you're beside it, waiting for a lift. Only sometimes it's safer to stay at home. Well, as the walrus said to the carpenter on that memorable occasion at the beach, the time has come and I must be on my way. I have an appointment with an old friend of mine, a watchmaker by profession. He's quite a pleasant fellow and I enjoy his company. He's restful, so to speak, at least for me. Somehow, whenever I leave him, I always feel well-adjusted.
The Clock will be heard again next week, same time, same station. Written by Lawrence Klee and starring Hart McGuire. You heard Wendy Playfair and Charles Tingwell as Lola and Len. As Leach, Owen Weingott. As garage attendant, Ozzie Wenban. The Clock is directed by John Saul, a Grace Gibson radio production.
Sunrise and sunset, promise and fulfillment, birth and death. The whole drama of life is written in the sands of time.
We present a new series of radio programs, The Clock.
Time and distance are closely related, and one is often measured by the other. For instance, the distance to the stars is not measured in miles, but in so many light years. The mileage between, let us say, New York and Cairo is not measured in miles alone in this modern age, but also in flying hours. A commuter on his way to the station looks not only at his car speedometer in an anxious way, but also at his wristwatch. The course of a man's life itself is calculated in minutes and hours, and whether that distance is great or small depends on the timekeeper, his conscience.
That was quite a meal.
I'm glad you liked it, Fletcher.
Avocado, broiled lobster, crepe Suzettes, and a good wine to top it off. Could a man ask for more? Hardly. Here, Wilson, have a cigar.
Thanks.
Yeah. There's nothing like a good meal to make a man feel at peace with the world and to give him an urge to talk. Good conversation is the final course for a perfect dinner. Let me tell you a little story, Wilson. You've got some time, haven't you? This will be worth your while. You know, this isn't the only first-rate meal I've ever had. There was a time once when caviar and lobster were on my menu every day.
Is that so?
The world was my oyster, Wilson, and I was salting it to my taste. Of course, it didn't begin that way.
You used to be a valet, didn't you?
That's right. I worked as somebody's boot polisher for over 7 years. He was a wealthy man, a multimillionaire. Have some wine, Wilson?
No, thanks.
Yes, I worked like the proverbial horse for Gregory Richards, and I found that he didn't appreciate my merits. It was rather disappointing, to say the least. But I am a man of some ingenuity. I waited for my chance, and when it came, I was ready for it. The servants have all been dismissed, Mr. Richards.
All right, Fletcher. Has Mrs. Richards come in?
Just a moment ago, sir. I told her that you were in the library.
Has she noticed anything?
Not that I know of, sir.
That'll be all, Fletcher.
You mean, for now, Mr. Richards?
I mean, you're going, too, with the rest of them.
Oh, I see, sir.
Sorry I have to do it this way, but we're closing the house. You've been a good valet, Fletcher. I hate to lose you. I have no other choice.
If you don't mind my saying so, Mr. Richards, isn't this dismissal rather abrupt after so many years of service?
I'm giving you a month's pay in advance. That's fair enough.
I don't quite see it that way, sir.
What do you mean you don't quite see it?
I have been a little more to you than just a valet.
Have you?
I might say I have been your, confidant.
Just what are you getting at?
And it seems to me that a small pension of perhaps $5,000 would repay me for my service.
Oh, really?
You must admit that I've been discreet, very discreet.
Are you trying to blackmail me?
If your affair with Miss Cartwright had been entrusted to less capable hands than mine...
All right, Fletcher, get out.
Mr. Richards...
Get out before I break your filthy neck.
Very well. But, Mr. Richards, you may have reason one day to regret this. Goodbye, sir.
Charles! Lucy! Fletcher! Where is everybody? Gregory! Gregory!
What is it, dear?
What's going on in this house? Where are the servants?
They're gone, Harriet.
Gone? What do you mean, gone? Where's Fletcher?
He's gone, too. I dismissed them all.
Gregory, have you gone crazy?
On the contrary, I've made up my mind to a very difficult decision.
Have you?
I'm sick of this house, Harriet, and everything it stands for. I've made arrangements with a broker to sell it.
Without consulting me?
I have no reason to consult you about anything any longer. The plain fact is that I'm leaving you, Harriet. For good.
Well, so you've come up with it at last.
I'm glad you knew it was coming. I'm glad you realize we can't go on this way. It makes it easier.
What do you think I am, an old pair of shoes? Do you really believe you can dismiss me like the servants and get away with it?
I'll provide you with money.
Money? And what about my pride? You think I want to face my friends after you've thrown me over for that woman?
Then you know.
Yes, I know. I've known for a long time. You think you'll get a divorce from me? Well, it'll be over my dead body.
Harriet!
Anne Cartwright, the darling of polite society. Anne Cartwright, the tramp.
Harriet,
I'll ruin her. That's what I'll do. I'll splash this thing over every tabloid in the country. And I'll ruin you, too. I'll show you up to your fancy friends for what you are. You wait and see.
Why? Why would you? You never loved me. I gave you everything money could buy. Why don't you give me my freedom now when it means nothing to you?
Because I hate you, that's why. And I hate her. Oh, I know what her family's like. They won't allow you to get within 10 feet of her as long as you're married. You think you can make a fool of me, Gregory? Well, you'd better think twice.
So this is how you want it to be?
Just wait until I really get started. I'll show you how I want it to be. She won't be able to show her face again.
You wouldn't dare.
She'll want to run away and find a hole to hide in.
Harriet!
The trap. The duck.
No, you won't get away with that, Harriet.
No.
You went too far. I told you. Harriet. Harriet, get up. Harriet! She's dead. I've got to do something. But where? How? I've got it. Yes, the cellar. The cellar. Underneath the cement. In the morning, they'll never know.
Do you need any help, sir? You've done a pretty good job, a very good job, Mr. Richards. May I suggest that a layer of cement over that tomorrow will hide it forever?
I thought you'd gone.
Oh, no, Mr. Richards, I'm still here, as you see.
Fletcher!
Don't lay a hand on me, Mr. Richards, not unless you want to face this kitchen knife.
All right, Fletcher, you win. Call the police.
The police?
Go on, turn me in.
Oh, Mr. Richards, as I told you once before, you underestimate my value. Why call the police?
What do you mean?
The police would do neither of us any good.
How much do you want?
Now, really, Mr. Richards.
10,000? 20? A bargain's a bargain. Name your price.
You may find it rather high. But then, your life is worth something too, Mr. Richards.
What is it? For heaven's sake, don't stand there grinning like an idiot. What do you want to keep quiet?
Everything, Mr. Richards. Everything.
Sit down, Fletcher.
Thank you.
Not there. That's my chair.
I know it.
Now, look. You've got a price. I want to know how much you want.
Do you mind if I have one of your cigars? Thank you.
Of all the...
Maybe you don't quite understand the situation you're in, Mr. Richards. Your life is in the palm of my hand. If I pick up that phone, I can put a noose around your neck so fast you wouldn't know what hit you.
What are you trying to do? Torture me? Are you just playing with me to amuse yourself before you turn me in?
I have no intention of turning you in, providing, of course, we come to terms.
What are your terms? I've asked a dozen times.
And I've told you. Everything. I'm going to live the way you live and enjoy what you enjoy. For the rest of your natural life.
Make that a little clearer.
Yes, I suppose I must. From now on, I'll be the fine gentleman, Mr. Richards. From now on, I'll see what it's like to live in velvet. Oh, but of course, you live here with me.
That's decent of you.
Yes, and what's more, you'll wait on me the way I waited on you. Do you hear? You'll be the valet, Mr. Richards, and I'll be the master.
You're mad.
Not entirely, no. However, I am a generous man. I won't confine you to the house. You may leave occasionally, providing you let me know where you're going. I don't mind.
That's very big of you.
And there'd be no point in your running away either. I'd have the police on your neck in a hurry if you did. And besides, Miss Cartwright would also be involved. You wouldn't want that to happen, would you?
Gregory, dear, did I keep you waiting?
Sit down, Anne, please.
Have you ordered?
No, I can't stay for lunch. I have another appointment.
But it's been so long since we've seen each other. What is it, Gregory? Why are you worried? Did you tell your wife?
Yes, I told her.
And she refused to give you a divorce. Well, we were expecting that.
She didn't refuse, Anne.
No.
As a matter of fact, she's in Reno right now.
Gregory, then she understood.
Perfectly.
Gregory, if you're ashamed of what we've done, you needn't be.
And I have something else to tell you.
What is it?
For a while, until this blows over, we mustn't see each other.
Mustn't see each other? But why? We've nothing to hide anymore.
I insist on it, Anne. It's the only way.
How long do you think that will be?
I couldn't say. A few months, maybe.
Gregory.
We've no other choice, don't you see? We've got to give this some dignity. We've got to protect ourselves from gossip.
Gossip doesn't worry me. I've already told my father and mother the situation.
You have?
Yes, I have. I told them I'm not afraid of scandal, and I love you. I gave them a choice. They either see it my way or I leave the house.
You mean that?
Of course I do, dear.
And I thought Harriet would ruin them.
Gregory.
This is a fine time to find out.
Darling, you look so tired.
I am tired.
You need a rest. Why not go away for a week or two?
No.
Bermuda, perhaps. It'll do you good.
No, I can't go away. I can't leave town. Don't ask me to.
It's only a suggestion.
And I've got to leave you now.
So soon?
Yes, I must.
Gregory, what's wrong?
I'm afraid, Anne.
Afraid of what?
Something I can't explain.
Surely you can tell me.
No, I can't tell anyone, not even you.
Gregory, look at me. There's nothing, my darling, that can't be wiped out and forgotten.
Wiped out? That's it, Anne. That's the only way. I've thought about it and tried to plan it, but somehow my thoughts were never clear. You've clarified them for me completely.
Where are you going, Gregory? What are you going to do?
I'm going to erase this problem from my life forever.
Once the cake is cut, the saying goes, it is simple to enjoy another piece. Once the timekeeper loses track of the seconds in your mind, the clock runs wild. For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? And what does it profit the killer to take a human life and lose his own in return?
Yes, what is it?
Fletcher?
Come in, Richards.
I thought I told you to call me Mr. Fletcher when you address me, Richards. Do you have the check?
Yes. Here.
10,000. Fine, you may go now. You may even take the afternoon off, my good fellow.
I have something else here besides the check, Mr. Fletcher.
So I see.
There are 6 bullets in this gun. I'm going to fill your rotten body with them.
And what do you propose to do with me? Put me in the cellar next to your wife?
Exactly. I don't know why I never did this before. It's so easy, it makes me laugh.
Richard, you're a fool.
Am I?
Put the gun down. If you kill me, you die too.
You whipped me long enough, Fletcher. The party's over.
You idiot. Don't you think I'm prepared for this? Do you consider me to be so childish I let you get away with so simple a trick?
What do you mean you're prepared for it?
There's a note in my bank vault to be opened at my death. That note gives complete directions as to where the late Mrs. Richards can be found and how she got there.
No.
You didn't.
Put the gun on top of my desk, Richards, before you make me lose my temper. And that would be inconvenient for both of us. That's better.
You've worked it out completely, haven't you?
To the last detail. Clever, wasn't it? Incidentally, you met Anne Cartwright for luncheon this afternoon.
You followed me?
She's very pretty. Oh, yes, extremely attractive and young. A man could learn to appreciate a woman like that. I wonder how attractive I'd be to her. I'd like you to invite her here, Richards, for dinner. I want to know more about her. I have a feeling that we could become very good friends.
Just what are you driving at?
I told you I wanted everything, and everything includes Miss Cartwright. Extend the invitation, Richards, for tomorrow night.
Why, you...
Richards! Mind your manners. Tell Miss Cartwright she'll be having dinner with me at 8 tomorrow evening, and Richards, that dinner will be for 2.
Good evening, Fletcher.
Good evening. May I take your things?
Thank you. Will you tell Mr. Richards I'm here?
He's not in at the moment.
He isn't?
No, he suggested that I entertain you for a while.
You?
Will you have a whiskey and soda?
No, thank you.
You don't mind if I have one, do you?
Fletcher, have you been drinking?
Well, I've had 3 or 4, just enough to make my conversation interesting.
Please tell Mr. Richards to call me when he arrives.
Are you leaving?
Yes, I am.
You're very impulsive, Anne. I was looking forward to an enjoyable evening. I even prepared the dinner myself.
Fletcher, do you realize that Mr. Richards will dismiss you for this?
Dismiss me? Dismiss me? Oh, that's very good.
Fletcher.
Mr. Richards' dismissing days are over. From now on, he's taking orders, not giving them.
You're not only drunk, you're crazy.
Am I? Then why has he changed so much in the past few weeks? Why does he crawl around like a worm, afraid of his own shadow? And why haven't you seen him as much as you used to?
You know about that?
Yes, my dear, I do. You see, I've taken over for Mr. Richards. His very life depends on me.
Oh, you're lying.
Why should I? What good would lying do me?
Fletcher, just what did you mean when you said that his life depends on you?
Oh, it's nothing to bother your pretty head about. Suffice to say that I'm the man worth knowing now. I can do as much for you as he ever could, and more.
Fletcher, answer me. What did you mean?
Oh, well, it had something to do with money. He's in a difficult spot, and I've taken over all his financial responsibilities.
Now I know you're out of your mind. What would a valet know about finance?
Valet, am I? I'm a great deal better than that, Anne, I assure you.
I demand to know where Mr. Richards is.
He's gone.
Gone?
Yes, he's run away. He's not coming back.
Oh, you expect me to believe that?
No, I don't. And that's why he left this note.
What note?
Here. Now, let me read it to you. Dearest Anne, I'm going away for good. You won't see me again, so forget about me. Fletcher, my trusted friend, has taken over my estate. I can't explain why or how, just trust in him completely. And it's signed Gregory.
Let me see that.
There you are. You ought to recognize his handwriting by this time. Dearest Anne.
But why did he go? What have you to do with this?
You love him, don't you?
Well,
If you love him, you'll be nice to me. The truth of the matter is that your Gregory is an embezzler, and I'm protecting him from the police.
Oh, that can't be true.
But it is. My darling.
Oh, take your hands off me.
Oh, really? Now, aren't you being a little...
Get out of my way.
You'll come back. And when you do, you'll make up for that slap. Dearest Anne.
Dictators are always small men, either in physical size or in moral stature. The one thing they cannot fight is time. It cuts them all down to the same size sooner or later. Listen as the clock moves on.
Who's there? What? Oh, it's you, Richard.
Yes, it's I.
I told you to get out of town and stay out.
Where's Anne?
She's gone. But she'll be back. Now get out of here before I lose my patience. I've given you back your life and freedom, haven't I? Get out of my sight and stay out.
Yes. You've given me my life and taken everything else. And what you've taken, Fletcher, is more valuable to me than what you've returned.
Do you want me to call the police and turn you in?
You needn't bother. I'll do it myself.
What?
I don't care what happens to me anymore, Fletcher. My life's finished. But at least I'll have the satisfaction of seeing you punished along with me.
Punished? For what? I haven't done anything.
You've been an accessory to the crime. You've helped me keep my secret. That's enough to get you 20 years.
You're bluffing. You wouldn't dare to turn yourself in.
The bluff's over, Fletcher. For both of us.
Put it down. This gun of yours still holds 6 bullets, Richards. Drop that phone.
You're through, Fletcher.
True, am I? We'll see about that. You've forgotten that there's still plenty of room in the cellar. For you. Just a moment. I'm coming. Well?
Mr. Richards?
Mr. Richards isn't in right now. My name is Fletcher. I'm handling his affairs.
Oh, I see.
Well, what do you want?
Well, I see you haven't moved the furniture out yet.
Moved the furniture out? What are you talking about?
Well, according to the contract, Mr. Richards is due to vacate by the 10th. That's today.
Vacate? We're not moving.
But this house has been sold, mister.
Sold? When? To whom?
Well, Mr. Richards instructed his broker to sell a few weeks ago. The deal's been completed.
Now, wait a minute. There's been some mistake.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the authorization to take over the premises.
Oh. Mr. Richards has changed his mind. He doesn't want to sell.
The house has already been sold, mister. I told you that.
Then we'll buy it back, and we'll give them a profit on the transaction. They'll sell it back to us.
Well, maybe. In any case, Mr. Richards is the one to decide that.
What?
Well, the house was in his name. He's the only one who can change the deal. Well, where is Richards? Maybe if he sent a wire...
He can't be reached.
No?
No.
Then we'll have to go ahead, mister.
Now, wait a minute. This is ridiculous.
Look, mister, I didn't make the deal about the house. It was made with the Sanley Realty Corporation.
But don't you work for them?
No, and if you don't mind a little tip, you haven't got a chance in the world of buying back this place.
Why do you say that?
Well, the Realty Corporation's going to erect a $50 million office building, and this site is part of the layout. So don't waste your time by trying to make any deals with them.
Well, if you don't work for them, who do you work for?
I'm an agent for the Franklin House Wrecking Company. We've got a contract to tear this place down and make room for the office building.
You're going to tear it down?
So you better get somebody to move your stuff out, mister. My contract calls for us to begin work today. That's right now. I got 40 men outside, and we pay them by the hour. We can't wait. Hey, Joe?
Yeah?
Send the boys in, will you? We'll start, I think we'd better check to see how deep the foundations are first. And we'll start by tearing up the cellar.
Well, Wilson, what do you think?
Funny how it turned out for you.
Oh, now, wait a minute. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't my fault.
No?
Oh, it was Richards who made the mistake, the fool. After killing his wife and being taken over by someone as smart as me, he just couldn't think straight. He'd completely forgotten that he'd turned the house over to a broker when he made up his mind to leave his wife.
I guess you wouldn't have forgotten about it if you were running the show.
I should say I wouldn't. The idiot. If he had only told me... If he'd only mentioned something... Well, that's how it goes. It's the fools who are responsible for all the trouble in this world. Well, thanks for the dinner, Wilson. I appreciated it. It was certainly one of the best I've ever had.
Oh, don't thank me, Fletcher. It's on the state. A condemned man always gets the best.
Yes, time and distance are closely related, and one is often measured by the other. Scientists now measure the distance to the moon in rocket hours, and one day the men of the future may enable you to calculate the mileage around the world aboard your airliner in so many minutes. But one thing will always remain constant. The distance between the prison cell and the death house will always be measured by my ticking as I look down from the wall.
The Clock will be heard again next week, same time, same station. This program was written by Lawrence Clee and starred Hart McGuire as the Clock. Fletcher was played by Leonard Teal. As Richards, you heard Kevin Brennan. As Anne, Barbara Brunton. Gordon Glenwright was the guard, and as Harriet Richards and the agent, Sheila Sewell and Ken Hannum. The Clock, directed by John Saul, is a Grace Gibson radio production.